How you face yourself in times of unrest becomes pivotal in terms of how you see yourself. The best of who you are doesn't usually rise in moments of no challenge. The best of who you are comes to the forefront in moments of challenge, and we are in some challenging times, beloved. In those moments where we feel like our backs are against the wall, where we are bombarded on every side, where chaos and calamity become our companions, those are the moments we get to see who we really are. We're challenged on several fronts. The social unrest and injustice in this land. We are still plagued by the myth of racial superiority and white supremacy. That's one challenge, and it's a challenge that has never left our community. But on top of that, in the midst of that, we now find ourselves dealing with a plague of epic proportions, COVID-19. Life can be so overwhelming. Life can be so battering and bruising that pretty soon you feel as though chaos and calamity are your constant companions. Darkness begins to creep into your conscience. And with darkness comes those feelings of destruction, and the toxicity that runs rampant in your spirit can be so overwhelming. And in the midst of feeling overwhelmed, one day you look around and you look at your life and survey the landscape of your life, and you feel alone, as though you are all by yourself.
You don't want people to look at you differently or begin to judge you in a certain way.
All by yourself. All by yourself.
Sometimes I feel like I'm preaching to myself.
Self. My bouts with depression started in part because of my chronic health condition. I was born with a very rare disease known as common variable immunodeficiency. In a word, I was born with no antibodies. I've been a pastor, battling sickness, battling this disease, battling chronic pain, and still having to show up for people and preach and minister and teach. The truth is, I don't know or remember of a week in my life where I did not have pain. But I remember hearing someone ask one time, what happens when the comforter needs comforting? What happens when the one who is always expected to show up for everyone else needs someone to show up?
Depression is a clinical condition that is the #1 cause of disability in the world. It's also the #1 cause of disability in New York City. So our team conducted the first ever study where we identified people with depression in the church. We worked with 3 different churches, one in Harlem, one in Brooklyn, and one in Queens. And across these 3 churches, where we screened over 100 people, 20%, 1 out of 5 people at these 3 churches had depression.
One of the things that Dr. Hankerson and I have done is that we have created a community health worker training institute, or center rather, at Columbia University.
My name is Calvin Martin. I'm a community health worker. I was trained by Columbia University Medical Center, which is a part of New York Presbyterian Hospital. The training was long and intense. It was an 8 weeks training course, 3 days a week, 2 to 3 hours per day.
The role of the church in the Black community has historical significance. It has been a place of solace, comfort, a place for guidance and spiritual wellness for generations.
Over 70% of African Americans attend church regularly. And this community health worker training center that we have is responsible for working directly with health ministries in the Black church and imparting skills and knowledge around different health screening activities, around different health counseling activities, and even around the enrollment of congregants into health insurance plans.
What they've been able to do at Columbia and with community health workers are form a network of support and care and concern that's been able to help countless people. But we cannot afford to remain silent. We cannot afford to remain embarrassed. We must seek out the services that are available from the institutions that are committed.
But I'm committed to the healing that is necessary to keep my mind right, and my heart right, and my spirit right, and my